Is it possible for pharaohs or kings and gods to come alive again and rebuild what they knew in ancient times?
Brother, that's what they've always done.
Yeah.
If you really understand the process. Now, I wouldn't use the word pharaoh because pharaoh is an Asiatic word,
Yeah.
right? So we have to understand these people from their own standpoint, from their own position, and not from the position of conquerors and enslavers and destroyers. So the essence, sweet bitty, yeah, and sweet bitty is a term that was used to describe the person who lived in Per-Ah. Per-Ah means the great house.
Mm-hmm.
So Asiatics took that word Per-Ah and called them Pharaoh, which is the equivalent of calling the President of the United States the White House. Right? It makes no sense once you understand the language. But one of the guiding principles of Kemet was directly tethered to Ma'at, and that is the principle, the concept of the Rehimi Misu, the repetition of the birth. What our ancestors understood in Kemet, in the Nile Valley, and throughout most of Africa is the fact that there is no death. The body is temporary, but the spirit is eternal. The spirit comes back into another body to continue the work, right? So we're here to work. And so it's simply a matter of being able to be socialized in an environment that understands that when a child is born, that child is a returning ancestor, right? So if the community is tight, then there are people who will be able to identify which ancestor is returning. And so for the kings of Kemet, they understood that to be the philosophical construct for leadership. So many kings were named not after their father, but their grandfathers, because they were the returning ancestor, right? And in West Africa, you find the same thing. There are names in West African culture, Yoruba culture, that speaks to the return of the ancestor, the return of Baba. And so once you begin to be able to wrap your mind around this mind-freeing concept, then it means that our living becomes a self-determining thing. The quality of life that we live is based on the quality of life that we have lived, which is why that scene of the weighing of the soul, where on the day of judgment, the soul of the deceased has to be weighed opposite the feather of my eye. As the soul recites the 42 admonitions of my eye. I have not stolen, I have not robbed, I have not defrauded offerings, I have not done this. 42 declarations of innocence. And to the extent to which that soul has lived a righteous life is the extent to which that soul can live a righteous life in the next life, right? And so that means that we have control over our destiny. It means that our lives is a continuum. So once you can begin to recalibrate what it means to be alive and to know who, in fact, you are. Who you are is who you were. Who you are is who you're going to be. So we're in a position right now in this life to determine the quality of lives that we'll live in the lifetimes to come. That's power, baby.
Yep.
So you can never expect your oppressor to teach you that information. It ain't in their best interest. So it's about, going back to what I said earlier, it's about knowing yourself. Know who you are. More importantly, know who you are not. Next question.